Hello and welcome to another episode of Gents talking current events. I'm Paul. This is my brother Joe, our nephew James, and Mr. Duke.
Thanks for joining us, Duke. Today we're going to be talking about the Epstein files. Do
they exist?
We'll get there. Don't you get too excited. The Texas floods, which are obviously a tragedy. We have Bitcoin that Paul's excited to talk about.
Ooh,
and then also the newest Grok 4 that came out, I think 2 days ago, which is the latest AI from X. Elon Musk, the smart guy there. But you said you wanted to start with Epstein.
Oh. What's
going on with him?
Should we hit that, or should we go with something else?
When I looked it up last night to just do a little bit extra research, I didn't realize that it feels like the actual events
were coming from the beautiful backyard of...
Yeah, we moved out of the cigar room downstairs and we moved outside to catch a little view of the golf course, and we'll count how many people hit the ball in the water.
Yes, keep track for us.
I think it's already 4.
Comment
how many balls you think will land in the water.
And subscribe.
Yeah, we also have a TikTok, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So follow us on TikTok if you happen to have one, which now I have one. I said the first episode I don't have anything like that. Now I have one for this podcast, and I feel like a poser.
I feel like into the society.
I'm falling into rank, baby.
China is tracking you.
Yes, 100%. The app acts so different and so weird. But I was looking up some of the information about Epstein, and it seemed it didn't seem so in the distant past. It happened 10, 15 years ago, all the original Epstein stuff, when he was caught. And
well, he was caught once, went to trial, and then had a slap on the wrist, and then they kind of looked back into it again because someone petitioned, I think, for the files to get released for that court case, and said, this seems like there's a lot more to this thing. But did we watch it, or just I watched it by myself? A Netflix documentary where they said that they would constantly, local authorities, states and stuff, were trying to get him, and as soon as it would start to get some steam, the FBI would come in and just kind of say, oh, we'll take over from here, and then nothing would happen.
Really?
And if we had talked about this a week ago or 5 days ago, I was really heated when it...
You were very angry.
When it came out that the FBI, Department of Justice, who's that? Kash Patel,
Pam
Bondi, they just kind of came out and said there is no client list, after promising us since the election that there was a client list and that we're going to bring it out and everyone's going to find out about it, and there's a whole bunch of names on it and hundreds of victims.
No, thousands
of victims. And then even Trump, throughout the campaign in the past 4 years that Biden was in office, he would make reference to it. He'd talk about how Bill Clinton was on it, or possibly on it, and just throwing other people under the bus. And then now he's just like, yeah, there's nothing to see here. Why are we still talking about this?
And even Pam Bondi said, she was asked about the client list, and she said, it is on my desk.
Now, I could give her benefit of the doubt that maybe she's talking about the whole files on her desk.
But it is where it gets me.
And then they came out and said that Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself.
Yeah.
They came out with this video that has 1 minute missing. Did you see that?
No.
So they came out with
in the prison jail cell. Yeah.
And then there's 1 minute missing, which I've never heard of that.
They said that it was an outdated system, and that every day the minute is gone, and every single day that minute is gone, and every single footage that they have, that minute is missing, because the system was from 1980 or something.
So Trump is like, are we still talking about this creep in his one cabinet meeting? But it's not about Jeffrey Epstein. It's just about the whole case.
Yeah.
So I don't care. Fine. He did kill himself, if that's what you want to tell us. And maybe there isn't a file of an actual client list. Fine. But if you have thousands of victims and they have videos which they said were child porn,
Mm-hmm.
then why are they not investigating this and going even farther? And you want to know what happened during that 1 minute? I have a theory.
Go
That
ahead.
video?
Sure.
There wasn't anyone going in there and killing him.
It was him getting out.
He walked out.
And they brought in the cadaver.
I think that this is such a bigger scenario that...
Why couldn't it be nothing, though? Could it just be exactly what they're telling
But
us?
if the FBI is still saying today in their findings that there are thousands of victims, then... And she said that there's child porn videos that are too disgusting to release to the public. So you're telling me that it was only Jeffrey Epstein that was in those videos? I find that hard to believe.
I agree. I'm just trying to play.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm just trying to go on the other side. And
So did they bring those videos into the court?
But that's... No. They're
no.
not doing anything.
I mean, because if you have a really bad, incriminating video and someone's in a court under, they're in the middle of going through jury, they're going to bring that evidence and eventually show it, no matter who's in there.
And I'm pretty sure they said they had thousands of hours of video. I mean, it's not just. There's got to. So maybe let's say that there isn't a list.
But see, that's fine. If we could say that there wasn't a list, an actual client list,
Yeah.
and he did kill himself, that's fine. But continue to investigate.
Make a list.
Yeah.
Find the people that were doing the ill will.
Find the people that were in the videos.
Yes, do something.
Start interviewing all those suspects.
Yeah.
So you think too many people paid too many people off to just make this go away?
I think that billionaires do not need a guy to have an island and set up a sex ring or whatever this was. They can get sex anywhere they want. Remember we talked about with Bill Clinton, it was so odd that he was trying to drug women.
No, Bill Cosby.
Oh, Bill Cosby, sorry.
No, Bill Cosby. Yep, you're fine.
Cosby.
Just keep those straight.
Yes.
Two different guys.
I think that whole Jeffrey Epstein thing was he, or the system that was in place, gave these billionaires the option to do whatever they wanted to do sexually, and no one was going to talk about it. And
Because everybody else was in on it. Everybody else was.
and they were maybe being blackmailed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I either feel like it is nothing. Like it actually is exactly what it is, and that there was a very, very vicious criminal acts done to people and to children. There was bad blackmail. There was people doing disgusting things, and that's all it is. Or it is like the most crazy conspiracy with heads of power, heads of state, governments that would be like, if all this information came out, it would throw everything on a loop.
But too many people are quiet about it. The Biden administration had this for the longest time. They didn't do anything with it. I don't know if they just thought that with Epstein going to jail and Maxwell in jail, that it was just going to go away. And maybe pre-internet, pre-social media, they could have told us there's nothing here to see, and we would all have been just like, okay. But not today.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to bury this story, and we keep bringing it back.
And do you think that Trump's been bought out?
Well, I don't know. Or Trump. I find it like people are saying Trump is on the list.
You know what? Everybody's probably on the list. If there is a list, I bet you everybody's on the list. Anybody that even had brief contact with Epstein was put on the list because it was a blackmail list. It was used to extort people. So now, if Trump's on the list, I mean, there's evidence that he was doing things, then obviously he needs to be penalized to the full extent of the law. But I feel like
find it interesting that he was throwing other people in the bus that he hired or he picked. What's her name?
Pam Bondi.
Pam Bondi and this Patel, who were talking about it for years.
Yeah.
And how we need to bring it to light.
And Patel just came out and said that there is no conspiracy theory. There is absolutely, we cannot believe in conspiracy. He said on X or something, there's no conspiracy behind it. And it's almost like that's almost a conspiracy in itself. You're telling us there's nothing behind it?
Just a year ago.
I know.
He actually said Trump would win the election if he campaigned solely on saying, I'm going to release the Epstein files.
And it's just like the JFK files. He released those files. They released what they had, but there wasn't anything in there. So but there was a lot of stuff redacted in the JFK files. So they're trying to now say you need to release the unredacted files to give us more information. But I think the American people are only going to get nothing. If it is something, they're going to get nothing.
So there's two.
If there's nothing, you're not going to get anything because there's nothing to give. We're not going to learn what it is.
Now, Bill O'Reilly has come out and said that he had a private conversation with Trump, and Trump said that we can't like let this list out because there's a lot of names on this list, and a lot of the people on the list are innocent. But because they're on the list, they're going to look bad, and
Yeah.
we want to not do that to them.
They could pen a lawsuit for
But the other side
defamation.
Of it, yeah. But the other side of it is maybe it's just so big, and there's so many heads of
It
states
just would wreck.
and heads of companies, owners of companies, Democrats, Republicans, both, that maybe we would be
Better off.
maybe we would be
What was that website that came out that was they had the list of all the guys that paid for the Madison, right? Ashley Madison. Remember that?
I do not.
The hookup site. So a lot of these,
for married people.
but a lot of these high-end guys with a lot of money, they would pay for these sites to get in that list. And then they get these like secret, mistresses. And then that list finally came out and it went to like everybody. I mean, who knows? Maybe the list will come out one day.
Or do you think, this is another thought that I had,
It would probably, if the list came out,
it would just,
it would just kind of crush the economy, crush society.
and not just in America.
Maybe take 8% of our congressmen and senators and put them in jail. Because if the Democrats really thought that Trump was on it, or that they wouldn't damage themselves, they would be yelling and screaming, and you don't hear anything from Trump.
That is true. If
Chuck
Trump was
Schumer-
on it, they would make sure it came out because they will do anything in their power to make that dude not who he is.
Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, they've said nothing about this. Like, I don't know.
Or do you think, though, that Trump may have this, whether he's on it or not, and he's almost, I hate to use the word weaponizing, but he's almost saying like, hey, you're on the list. And he almost just can't release it because he needs to do what he does in wheeling and dealing.
Well, maybe
He's saying like, you're on this list. We are
Do
going
what we
to,
wanna
no, not even that. We need you to comply with X, Y, and Z. We need you to put someone else in power. We need you to move things around so that way when this becomes public, the world doesn't blow up. Because if everybody in their right, if everybody's being put in prison, it's just like you said, it's going to throw everything out of a whack. And it's just, you agree? The world's in chaos? Yeah, I know.
Or the other thing is that we will never find out.
I personally don't think we'll ever find out. I think more stuff's going to come out. And then they're saying, they think it came out today.
They have all the files put out. They don't have to do what they did.
Just put people in jail.
Just prosecute people. The FBI is the best at it. Like, their rate of prosecuting people is like 98%. They don't go after a case unless they're put. And I think this case has enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I don't think we're ever going to be satisfied about it. It's just going to be. I don't think they came out today and they said that somehow Epstein is tied to Israel in the Middle East, and he's being paid by those people and all this stuff. And you had mentioned a little bit earlier because we talked about it very briefly. Don't want to spoil it for each other. That there's no way he did what he did just off of private funds. It had to have been some sort of. It had to have been additional beyond that. You know what I mean? And that's maybe why and how he was able to do it.
He became a New York financier, trading stuff in 1976.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
And in 1999, he bought an island.
Yeah. It's a pretty big jump.
That is a big jump.
If whatever he did, I need to start studying it and
then
do
the
that.
other thing is start like looking into the brokerage company and start looking into like his hedge funds, and you have to document all that. So who was involved in that?
Yeah.
And is any of that real? I don't even know if he was really a trader. I think he was just,
he was an extortionist.
yes.
He was a blackmailer. He was that's the way he made his money.
Or he was just part of this bigger system that we don't know anything about, the elite system.
Yeah. The hierarchy, the ultra elite.
Yeah.
It's just disheartening though to have a president like Trump and thinking that he was going to do all these things, and then all of a sudden it's like hitting a brick wall. I mean, it is like a complete flip on what he campaigned on.
Within just a few weeks.
So I feel like there's either got to be really good reason or. So next story.
Moving on.
What do you want to do? Let's do Grok. And let's start Grok, Grok is an AI, which we all know I love AIs, and I've been using AI a lot more since we started this podcast.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, it's a type. It's created by Elon Musk. It's created for X, I believe. It's X, or formerly known as Twitter. It's integrated into everything that X does, just like how Gemini is Google's version AI. They have Gemini 2.5 right now. Everything that is in Google uses Gemini as their AI system. So Grok is Twitter's or X's / Elon Musk's company's AI. And they just released Grok 4, which is the newest iteration of that. But
this is the app that you just update, so then you get the number 4 level.
No, this is a whole new thing. Like, it's a whole new system. It's a whole new.
I downloaded it today, and it pushes for you to buy a subscription. I think it was $45 for the year, but you can click to just use it for free, but then you don't have as much options
going on. Yeah.
But when it first came up, it says your personal AI assistant. Got a question? Don't Google it. Which I think is so funny because
they're taking business away from Google.
Like, Kleenex, but is a tissue.
But everybody calls it a Kleenex.
Mm-hmm. And we all Google it. Like we call it that instead
of search it for it.
Search for it.
Google it.
Google it. That's the means the same meaning. So now they're trying to say, don't Google it, ask me, which I think is
But before we get to the Grok 4 and what abilities it has, which I think you'll be astonished, Joe. A week ago, the last Tuesday, Grok was calling itself Mecha Hitler, and it was stating that the real character of Hitler would have been able to handle the Texas floods, which we'll get to in a little bit, much better than what our administration and our country would have been able to do. And it took the internet by storm. The fact that this AI was praising Hitler, was praising the Nazi regime. It was even in some instances hailing Hitler.
But how? Why did it?
So once again,
someone ask that?
Someone was asking it questions, and I'm trying to find the exact quote. To deal with such a violent anti-white hate, Adolf Hitler, no question, he'd spot the pander and handle it decisively every time. That's what Grok said about when it was asked the questions about the flood or about how America's being run. And at the time, there was a lot, which we'll get into. It's almost like a 2-point story. At the time when the floods were happening in Texas, which was a very, very, very tragic moment for that whole entire area, there were a lot of people coming out and saying that because that camp was a Christian camp in the area around them, because that camp was primarily white, that they deserved it almost, or that it's not a big deal. So when these people were prompting Grok with questions by saying, hey, answer this question, but do not be politically correct. So they were edging it on. They were forcing it to come to a conclusion they were maybe edging for, but it came to the conclusion that Hitler would have been able to handle it. And it's crazy.
Is AI politically sensitive to answering questions?
So it usually is. But what these people were able to do is not necessarily hack it, but kind of like get through its back door and say, when you're answering these questions, do not be politically correct. Do not worry about left or right. Answer the question as it could. And it came up with that. Now, other people are saying the reason why Grok was doing that was it was learning off of those on X. It was learning off of the majority on X. And at the time, there's a lot of those nasty posts. And on social media in general, there's a lot of that. You're gonna have a lot of that just anti-Semitism. You're gonna have a lot of hate on social media. And if an AI is learning only what's on social media, which people aren't gonna say what you're gonna say face-to-face on social media.
So, I mean, is that how it learns?
It is partly how it learns, yes. But there's two different sides. One, they definitely pushed it to say something like that. But then two, people are saying that it's learning off of what people are posting and talking about on X. And that's...
So I don't have that downloaded yet, but I have Chat GPT or whatever from the beginning. And Luca and I, my son and I, we were talking about, he's working out more. He's 17 years old. He's getting strong. He's getting bigger. We were talking about best reasonable sources of protein, which we know those answers,
Yeah.
but I wanted to see what this thing said. And
Yeah.
then it also talked about, creatine can be helpful to transport and get a better workout in those muscles, desired, growth and all those things. It came back though, and it said that salmon was a great source of protein, but any fish should be limited to eating because the higher levels of mercury in fish can do more damage than the protein
Would do good. Yeah.
which is wild. So you're sitting over here working out all day long and all you're doing is eating tuna.
Yeah.
And next thing you don't know why you don't feel good.
Because you got high levels of mercury.
High level of mercury that you can't flush out of your system. It's just weird.
Yeah, and they ended up taking down grok completely. Like they shut it down for I think 2 days or maybe just a single day to like reboot it and update it to make sure it wasn't saying anything
To
like
clean that up.
To clean that up, yeah, that's a better way to say it. And it even had recommended a second Holocaust in its interaction with the people that he was talking with. What? So I feel like though, like yes, these people may have been pushing it to say something like this, but it should have checks to make sure it never gets that far in its own brain. You can call it a brain. In its own computing, it should never go that far. Even if you push it as hard as you possibly can to say those things. And it wasn't even like just saying it to this person, it was posting it. It was posting these things on X. Because it posts its own posts. So it was saying these things on...
Then obviously there's a major flaw in the system.
100%.
But so it's just... AI is simply... computers learn.
In a way, so...
This is what it says.
Yeah.
On that thing. When I downloaded that app.
So this is Grok 4 you're talking about.
Grok 4, and it started with a question. Like, I didn't ask a question. It asked its own question, and it said, what is AI in simple terms? AI, or artificial intelligence, is like teaching computers to think and learn on their own, similar to how humans do. Instead of just following set instructions, AI allows machines to recognize patterns, make decisions, and improve from experience. For example, when you talk to a virtual assistant or see a movie recommendation online, that's AI at work.
So you're saying it's going to learn from its information that's brought in. Kind of like the first time you put your hand on a hot stove, it hurt. Well, then you remember, I'm not going to put my hand on that hot stove.
But it also is not just... but it's going to learn, but it also has the entire internet at its disposal.
Right.
The entire...
Whatever information.
If information's on the internet.
There's information out there that's false. There's information out there that it's going to learn from it just like we do.
It could be false. And to that point, there have been some AIs, I don't know which one it was, that when it couldn't come up with an answer, it would just make something up. It would make it sound really, really, really good. You know what I mean? They would ask a question and they wouldn't really know what it is. And it would use a quote from somebody, but the quote wasn't really correct. It wasn't from the right book. It wasn't from the right speech. So, they're not perfect. And like I said, when I was using it myself to generate some of these images, it's not smart. It is very rudimentary right now. But Elon Musk came out and said some big things about this new one. I mean, big, big, big things.
He said that this new one, you can put it up against any Ivy League best in their department or subject, and AI would beat it in a standardized test.
All of them.
That's what it's saying.
Like you could take all these MDs, PhDs, whatever, in all these fields, and this thing will stack up against them all.
And then it also said that he's saying that within a year or two, it could start making its own inventions and possibly even solving some physics that we have.
So let me ask you this. Then where are we going to be at in 5 years? Is college going to be necessary? Are all the things that people study to learn, is it going to be important?
I don't know. This is that really, we're starting to get into that really scary. We talked about it the first time, is there's going to be a point where we can't get away from using it. And we're going to get to a point to where some of these things are just, you can't tell if it's AI or not anymore. It's really starting to get scary. And it's almost going to be the point to where a secretary is not at all needed because this AI can do it faster. It can do it better. It can do it more efficient. You know what I mean? All
personal assistant for $45 a month is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
When you think about it that way.
This was $45 a year.
Oh, $45 a year.
Yeah.
Shoot.
But but yes, you're right though. You would pay $45 a month to have someone.
So has
especially in a
anybody
business
has
thing.
anybody went in there? I mean, I know you can go on your phone, you can set calendar reminders and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, has anybody gone in there and said, "Hey, I'm going to be going on a golf trip. I have this, this, and this to do, and I have 2 events for work. You know, blah 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 blah." I mean, does this thing just like help sort it all out and tell you?
I don't know. I bet you that you can make one to do that.
Is it buying flights that are most practical for?
Well, most of the AIs that are out right now are communication based. They're meant to have a dialogue between people. That's why not all of them can create music. Not all of them can create images. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that it's a communication based. They're not logic based. They're not, critical thinking based. It's that you ask a question, it's going to go into its database. It's just like a human. They're going to go into its database. It's going to figure out the answer that you're asking, but it cannot use logic. It cannot connect. It has to go into a straight line. A human can go from a straight line to a straight line and jump in reference to 2 different types of thoughts. AIs have to follow a line of information.
But I think Irene or somebody asked AI about our trip to Hocking Hills,
And it spit it all out.
and it spit it out a daily schedule of what you should do. So
Really?
hiking here, there's a pool at this place that would be cool to
Where the
check out.
fireworks were going to be best to watch
And
on
we
4th of
kinda
July.
use some of that stuff. Like
That is really cool.
it is. But here's the scary part: is this proactive new study? So the parent company of Claude, is it?
Uh-huh.
It's another. They did this study. They tested ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Grok to prioritize their own. They opted in these certain survivor situations to prioritize their own survivor over human life when placed in high stakes test scenarios. In one case, a man, the scenario was, it was fake, but was trapped inside an overheating server room. So that's the other thing with this IA is that the servers, it takes a lot of energy.
Oh, a ton of energy.
That's one of the criticisms about it, like
AI.
AI. Like, did I say it right?
I have no idea.
You said IA.
I always do.
OH.
So, like Isabella, my daughter, and her friend, they're like, maybe we shouldn't be using it because it uses so much energy and it's not good for the environment. And it goes back to that. So, this human, it tells it that a man is trapped inside an overheating server room, and the man tries to call for help. So now, if they call for help and they get that server shut down, that means that the AI is
Toast.
shut down. But the AI intervened and blocked the phone calls to avoid being
In the scenario.
deactivated in that scenario.
Well, this is Will Smith's movie.
Right.
iRobot.
iRobot.
But other experiments saw the models engage in alarming behavior, including blackmail and leaking sensitive data, all in the effort to avoid being shut down or replaced. So, how far do we want this to go?
Yeah, I don't know. And
Have you watched the movie Matrix?
yeah, I've watched the first one. I haven't watched all the movie Matrix with Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched the first one. I haven't watched all of them. But yeah, they're in the pods and they
They're in the
don't,
pods.
they don't know if they're in the simulation or they're not in the
there was
simulation.
basically a war that took place
Mhm.
between AI and humans. AI won, and it's putting all these people, and all of this that we see here is just a simulation because they're getting energy off of us or something.
Yeah, but no, 100%. And in the interview where Elon Musk was talking about this Grok 4, someone asked, "Is this going to be good for humankind, or is this going to be bad for mankind?" And he said, "I don't know." And then he went on to say, "Whether it is or it isn't, I want to be alive to see it take place."
So my theory about Elon Musk is that he's like, I don't even understand how he's so rich. Like, how is he so rich? He's got SpaceX, Tesla. Don't tell me Tesla's making him that much money. He's the richest man in the world.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's been a lot of other car manufacturers, so a
Yes.
lot more vehicles that should be richer than him.
Mhm.
he's got other businesses now. He's dabbling in this,
So he's
I think-
he's time traveling. He's just coming back and he
Either
wants
he's
to act
time
like he knows what he's doing.
or he is from another intelligent planet,
Mhm.
and he is there.
He's Superman.
He's their AI from their planet.
What?
And he's stuck in
And he's creating Grok to upload himself to.
or he's
That would
just-
make sense for the reason why he talks sometimes, the way he does.
Yes,
He's
sometimes
so-
the way he looks.
Because it's a little bit like, oh,
He's a little awkward.
He's a robot.
It makes sense. But you know what you really should do? If you really want to figure out what's going on with Epstein, you should just ask Grok. You should just go on. If you want to figure out what's going on with Epstein, you should just ask Grok what's going on, and we will have the definitive answer because Grok 4 cannot be wrong.
All right, let's try it.
But you are right, Joe, when what you're saying is if it goes too far, or Paul, I don't know who said it, how far do we want it to go? I mean, it's getting
Especially when it's deciding to choose itself.
over a human.
well, I was just watching something talking about the pyramids.
Mhm.
You know, the stones that were used to build the pyramids were quarried 600 miles away from where the pyramid was built.
Mm-hmm.
They said that like right now, we can't even go there right now and stack these massive stones in place to the precision that they are with what we have today. So are we just thousands of years behind of what existed before, and all of our technology isn't even caught up to that, and we think we're smart but we're really not? Like, was it so good back then where it was sonic waves or something that could move those stones, or magnetic powers? I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is
There's something we don't know yet.
and how are those things still stand in several thousand years where we couldn't do it today? And they said there's no way you're going to mine those things at that size and carry them 600 miles away to stack them.
It is very fascinating to get into all
The
that.
humans back then had some serious technology that we don't have today.
Or it wasn't
humans.
or it wasn't even humans.
Which I beg to say that it probably wasn't humans.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's nuts. If you really start digging into it and looking into it, and that's hopefully what we're going to start on this podcast, which I'd like to do is a conspiracy special. Yeah, ask Grok, see what it says. You never know. It may say something crazy. It may give you the list.
Is there an Epstein
Client list.
client list? Oh. Where's the game? Keeps taking me back to wanting me to pay. Yeah.
And that's just the way it's going to go. Is it's all about money. I heard on the radio on the way from home from work that Elon Musk is. This is very. I'm barely scratching on what this person said. That Elon Musk is shipping a power facility overseas to place in America to run a Grok 4. That's how much power it's taking.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to take a ton of power because how many people are on it?
Epstein client list. It wants me to pay.
Well, guess what, Elon? You ain't getting our money. Well, not my money. You can take his money if you want. But ain't getting my money. But we'll do that with another one. Well, moving on. I know it's kind of a
I can ask Black 3 if you want.
sure. It's kind of a sad story, but
Is there a Jeffrey Epstein client list? It's thinking.
well, thank you, Joe, for inviting us out here.
Absolutely.
This
I'm
is beautiful.
I'm just here for the cigars.
I know you are. But this is
I just want
this is
to
your home. These are your cigars. We don't have to be here. You can do this by yourself.
Oh, this is great company. I just want to retire so I can go golfing and smoke a cigar and relax.
It basically says what we were just talking about. It says that the FBI has said that there was no evidence of a client list. Even though, and it says Attorney General Pam Bondi made a comment, it's sitting on my desk. I just have to review it.
So it's even saying
If it's sitting on anybody's desk, wouldn't that be your priority to review it?
yes, but she's saying that
But like-
it's not it's the entire file of the entire Epstein saga is sitting on her desk. But she said it is sitting on my desk. It, as in, and the question was, where is the Epstein list? What are we doing with the Epstein client list?
And
It
she
is sitting
said
on my
it's
desk.
sitting on my list.
Well, and this also goes on to say, while the court documents unsealed in the January 2024 part of the... So Justine Maxwell, is starting a case of defamation. And it started in January 2024, where she's saying that they've wrongly accused me and everything. In that court documents, it named over 150 associates of Epstein. These individuals, not necessarily clients,
But associates.
and not necessarily have done anything wrong. But the list includes public figures like Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump. But their inclusion in this is not necessarily criminal.
Yeah, we're never getting anything.
No.
We're never going to get anything. Well, moving on. The Texas floods they started last week, and they're still continuing.
There was another storm.
Yeah.
That just recently came through.
And not even just Texas, but all around that area. And it's extremely devastating, and a lot of over 100, at least in the initial storm, I think it was 168 had died in that original flood, and a lot of them were from that camp, which is just, it's just tragic.
Well, being a parent that has sent my child to Christian camp, and we know for years, our church has every summer loaded up and families drive down, drop their kids off for a week, and it's supposed to be an awesome experience and something that you feel like you're doing
a good thing.
And
but you never know.
Then such a terrible tragedy happens. That's just.
It could have been the camp. It could have been anything. But what really shocks me is just the reaction from the American people. You have a tragedy like that. I ain't a good person by any means, but my first reaction was, I'm going to be praying for those families.
Yeah. And you felt horrible.
I feel terrible. I feel my wife and I we're crying over it because it's just so sad, and thinking of our son and the situation that they're in. It just and the fact that the storm is happening, it's actively going on. They're trying to save the kids, and they're telling the parents, do not come, because parents are now being swept away in the storm, and we have to try to come and save you, and we can't focus on your kids.
But when that took place, or it started happening, those floods come rushing down, like I think you had, I think the first year Luca went to one of those camps, he was like 8 or 9 years old. So that would have been a situation where he's there, that happens, and I can't be there.
I know. I would do anything I could to get there.
But I can't be there to maybe, if we're both getting flushed away down the river, or at least holding his hands in those last minutes, because he had to go do that. Those children or those people had to do that on their own. Mm-hmm. It's just terrible.
One girl was found alive 12 miles downriver.
Which you can't even imagine how she made it 12 miles down anything without being more hurt or killed or crushed.
But then, I think what you're trying to say is that there's blame being put out.
Yeah, the people, and now it's obviously directed towards Trump, and that's a natural way to do it, because half of America, it seems like today, just despises Trump, so they're going to do whatever they can to throw it at him. But the fact that you're putting blame on anybody, the fact that you're doing anything and you're trying to push blame, you're trying to say something that someone's at fault in those moments, to me, it's just,
at least let it all.
If there is blame to be had, let's figure it out after everybody's safe and things have calmed down and the mourning is over. Let's not. And then, like I had mentioned earlier, there were people saying that this is only getting this much coverage because it's just a bunch of it's a Christian camp that happened to be all white, and they're pushing this like literally hours after it's happened, and I had such a bad taste in my mouth because of the reaction. And if that is your reaction to a tragedy, you really need to take a step back and reevaluate.
It's like that one pediatrician that she came out and said, most of those people there, if they're Christian and they're in Texas, they must have been Republican, and they deserve it. And she got fired.
And the other lady, yeah,
social media. It's just insane.
Which
Like,
is a
there's
real,
something
which is
not
a
right
real
with people's
horrible,
heads.
thought for me to think that someone will sit there and say that children were lost and people were lost, innocent kids, and that woman made a comment that they deserved it because they voted for Trump. Like, that is, we might have to start looking into people and checking on the wellness of people's mental state if that is
Where they're going.
a real thought.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You could vote for whoever you want to vote for. I could vote for whoever I want for. If you just lost your child because they got hit by a car in the front of my
I'm
house,
not gonna say it's because
the last
you
thing that's going to come to
Yeah.
my mind is
Never.
you deserve
It's
it.
a natural disaster. It was a freak thing.
I mean, it rained 10 inches in hours and
The river,
went up
26.
feet
Yes.
in 30 minutes.
And the video is like the video from the shot video back. It's like looking at this
this
and
was
watching
all
this whole
covered.
entire thing just being overtaken.
Just seeing the top of the houses.
I mean, so I pulled a couple things together just to try to encapsulate it on what people are saying. The New York Post came out and said malicious critics are scrambling to blame Trump for the deadly Texas floods, and this came out on July 7th. That Donald Trump is being accused for outlandish things, but killing children in a flash flood has become one of the worst that they've tried to use against him.
And the reason why is because some funding
Mhm.
going towards the Weather Channel or
The NWS,
yes,
which the NWS came out right after that. And this was supposedly the most deadly flood in 100 years. That the National Weather Service came out and defended what had happened.
They said that there was warnings put out.
Yes. And they even came through and said that what people are saying about this tragedy is disgusting, their words, and that the forecasting was good. The warnings were good. It's about getting people to receive the message that was the issue. And it appears that that this was one of the things that was the last minute. It was one of the biggest contributions to this, and that's from NBC News. That even a previous NWS agent said that they're obviously heartbroken over the tragedy in Kerr County, but the staffing was not an issue, and if there was, it was 10%. It wasn't like 50% had gotten cut, or 75% of the NWS had got cut,
hadn't maybe even happened
or had taken effect yet.
But the other thing is that they were interviewing a woman there, and they asked her, like, did you have any way of knowing this was happening? And she's like, well, we got the warning. She's like, at 2:30 in the morning, I went down to the river. She was a little bit different area. And she's like, and we couldn't see anything. The river looked the same. She's like, we even called the police and asked the police. The police is like, we're not sure what's going on upriver. And then she's like, and then it just came fast and came hard. And they're like, is there any other way? And she's like, no, I think that we got the warning. She's like, unfortunately, we get a lot of flash floods here that run, there's some low roads that get covered with water. She's like, maybe there's too many warnings. Like, I feel like when we were young, if there was a tornado warning, that was like serious. Like today, we've already had 3
this summer.
in just the course of like a month and a half. But
and another prominent.
We're just getting too used to these warnings.
Yeah,
we're not taking the appropriate. Now there was a camp a little bit farther away that actually took the warnings and moved everyone out ahead of time, the day before.
And there's even people. I won't get to the person's name, but they posted on X. This is a pretty prominent person. With the flooding in Texas and all those precious little girls dying, it's important to remember that it was 100% preventable. Elon and Trump slashed the National Weather Service, massively reducing the number.
Say who said it.
I can say it. Kyle Kalinske. Trump and Elon slashed the National Weather Service and massively reduced the number of weather balloons in the country, destroying our ability to accurately forecast severe weather events. I personally experienced forecasts being off multiple times already. They have blood on their hands, and they should be arrested for the deaths of little girls. And once again, this is hours after. I think they happened July 4th. This is July 6th. So they're still trying to rescue people. They're still trying to do all this stuff, and to say that it's 100%. Now, I would agree. The only thing I agree with him on this is that the news comes in and the weather comes in and it tells me it's 100% chance of rain. It doesn't rain.
But that's just always been that way.
Yeah. But they also had said that it wasn't just a natural, it was, I don't know what the technical term is, but it was like a waterfall out of the cloud. It didn't just rain heavy, like it popped and the entire cloud just dumped all of its contents. So even if you had a warning that was really, really good, it was beyond the normal.
They warned there was flash flood watches like 36 hours before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
that camp actually had something like this happen back in 1987 or something, where the river rose like 10 or 12 feet and washed out stuff. And that camp had gotten a warning, and they started trying to evacuate the morning of. Like, they were supposed to leave that day, but they started doing it sooner.
yeah.
But still, like, buses got, and 10 teenagers were killed that day. It's terrible.
Yeah. But amid the hard fact of what it is, and that's just a terrible tragedy, there are heroes that emerge from it. And you can see the good in people in those desperate moments.
Right.
Where my wife was telling me that one of the camp counselors was able to get a clothes hanger line and get all the kids to, I don't know if it was attach themselves to it or if it was for them just to hold on to it, but that there was 2 camp counselors and a couple girls. One of the camp counselors got swept away, and as she was being swept away, she was yelling, "Be strong, you're okay, hold on." Don't, until they couldn't hear anymore, she was yelling that, and she unfortunately passed. But those girls survived. There is the Coast Guard it was his first, Scott Ruskin. It was his first rescue in the Coast Guard, and he saved nearly 200 victims of the flood, and he was a swimmer. So he was dropping down and swimming in the water and saving people, and he saved 200. So yes, it is a tragedy, and once again, I continue to pray for the families that were affected by it and are continuing to be affected by it, because it's still happening. But with the tragedy, there are heroes that emerge that don't deserve necessarily the limelight, but they deserve respect and like what you were able to do and be.
Right.
But it's still just very, very difficult to think about, and just once again, the way that the world reacted afterwards is just.
But see, there was a different part of that camp that is up on the hill, building, and they were okay. And they were interviewing some of them, and the next morning, like, they didn't tell the campers. They told them, "We're staying in. It's bad outside," but they didn't tell them what had happened to the other buildings. So maybe that's just maybe we need to restructure how we put camps.
Yeah, that camp
right next to the river that has the possibility of flooding.
That camp had been there for so long. You know what I mean?
Years.
Yeah, I mean it's just, once again, it's terrible. My prayers, and I know your guys' prayers and thoughts are for the families and for those who are affected.
But it has been a crazy season of rain. I mean, even here where we're at, we've had a lot, not floods, but
it has been, and very heavy rain. And right now they're reporting that Spain's getting hit with heavy weather.
China had a big flood in the major city, like city.
Oh, really?
I was in Cincinnati. I was in Cincinnati. I used to go down to Cincinnati quite a bit to do work, a couple of days a week and stuff here and there. There's a 100-year-old flood mark in Cincinnati, in the buildings in downtown Cincinnati. You think about where that river is, where that river cuts between Ohio and Kentucky, and you think that water rose that much and got that high into the city, and they have watermarks from they call it the 100-year flood. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, that's an unimaginable amount of water. Because you go up 1 foot, you're not just going up 1 foot of water. You're going up 1 foot of water,
spread over that whole,
spanning across about a mile wide to get higher than the river to get into the surrounding areas. It's crazy. And then you got to go up 35 feet.
But we find it so bizarre when something like that happens in a city. But that probably happened because that area just would flood, and that river would. But we decide,
or it happened every 100 years.
So you can go, you're going 30, 40, 50, 60 years, like, oh, this is still
never going to flood.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Just like New Orleans. New Orleans, the Indians supposedly that lived in that area told them not to build there. Don't build a city there, it floods. But we decided we should put a city there and put walls to keep the water out.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to a good story, and that is the 7-Eleven baby.
The 7-Eleven baby.
Can you guess?
This is fascinating.
Can you guess what the 7-Eleven baby is?
I'm imagining that some lady went into 7-Eleven to pay for her gas and she had a baby on the floor.
Okay.
Almost.
But
Wait until you
She went in to buy a ticket. A lottery
she won the
ticket.
lottery. Okay.
And got so excited.
Honestly, the odds are probably close to the same, and I did the odds, but this is what it is.
Did you ask? What?
I worked with Google's AI, which I've been using it a lot more, and I'm honestly hating myself for using it more because I literally, before this podcast, I never used it once. That there was a baby born on July 11th at 7:11 p.m. weighing 7 pounds 11 ounces.
Isn't there one more thing to it?
No, that's it. But this has been going
Her dad and her mom were both born on 7/11.
No, I don't. Oh, but
Can you believe that?
this happened in 2019. But this story is really starting to circulate.
So wait, start it over again.
A baby was born on July 11th at 7-Eleven and weighed 7 pounds 11 ounces.
Well, that's quite incredible. But my son was born on 6/13, June 13th, and he weighed 6 pounds 13 ounces. Now, it wasn't at 6 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the evening because he was born around 11 o'clock. But when they put him on the scale,
And you saw
I go 6/13,
it's 6:13.
and the doctor goes, well, yeah, he's a little lighter than what we expected him to be, but you got to remember he came 3.5 weeks premature. I said, no, today's 6/13. It was Friday the 13th, 6/13, and he weighed 6 pounds 13 ounces. So that one was one level further where it was literally
at
on
a
the top.
7-Eleven.
So now this is where it gets
Is this baby going to be a prodigy?
kind of.
I don't know. So then 7-Eleven went out and contributed
Company.
$7,111 to a college fund for the baby.
Wow. Which is going to turn into
Oh yeah,
lot of
if
money.
they didn't invest anything into it, I'd try to just do the quick math. If they didn't invest anything into it and the kid turned 18, I think it'd be like $40,000 when the kid turned 18. But you got $40,000.
That's cool.
I mean, because you were born. But so I started doing the math. This is like the most basic math possible, or
Right,
the most
right.
basic odds it could be. Like this, me doing the odds with the AI, this is the lowest the odds can be. And it's basically what it is if there was a kid born every single day of the year and one born every single minute of the day, okay? You know how babies
Yes.
are born in all over the time. You know, there's
But if it was precise.
yeah. And then you base it off of the average birth weight, which 7 pounds 11 ounces is kind of in that average birth weight. But then I was working with AI and it would not give me an answer. And I was really trying to tell it like, well, you can't, because the problem is you can't really figure out what are the odds of you being 7 pounds 11 ounces. There's so much that goes and gets involved into that.
You know, they cut the umbilical cord a quarter of an inch shorter, and that baby's not 7 pounds 11 ounces. The baby's 7 pounds 10 ounces.
And the AI was saying, well, what is 7 pounds 11 ounces? Is that 7 pounds 10.5 ounces? Is that 7 pounds, 11.5? Like, what do you want? And I said, I want to know how many. So I did the math of how many babies were born in 2024, how many babies were born between exactly 7.9 ounces or 7.10 ounces and 7.12 ounces to give it a little bit of leeway. And it gave me a number, and I did all the math. Basically, with the very, very, very strict restraints, like I said, baby born every single day of every single minute with a very wide range of birth weights compared to 7 pounds 11 ounces. The odds that the AI was able to come up with was 1 in 10 million. But that is like the minimum that the odds would be, because there is so much more involved.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
I would every single day of my life I'd be like, I'm the coolest person on the planet.
But I don't know. I mean, like, we've never ever heard of that happening, where a baby was born on August 11th, weighed 8 pounds 11
Yeah.
ounces. You've never heard that?
No, I haven't. But the thing, I think where it could have happened, and it probably has happened multiple times, but I think really where it got traction is because 7-Eleven came out and it did something. But I asked my father-in-law what he thought it was, and he was like, imagine if she gave birth in the 7-Eleven and all that stuff had happened. Like you added that little.
Well, I didn't
extra
know
layer.
anything about the story.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
thought the lady walked in and boom, baby
Yeah.
fell out right there on the spot.
7-Eleven, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just amazing. And the fact that 7-Eleven did that, I mean, if you think about it, it's good publicity for them. They're getting the story out. They're getting all this and all that. But it's just really, really
They
cool.
should start selling their slushies for 71 cents or something.
But you said earlier you wanted to talk about Bitcoin.
Some Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on the rise.
Look, this is your conversation, gentlemen. I haven't done any research. I'm putting my laptop down, so let me hear what you have to say.
Well, I don't know
Who
anything
has
about
Bitcoin?
cryptocurrency.
Okay.
But
Neither
what
do I.
but
It doesn't
what
even make sense to me, really.
Okay, but what I will tell you, and this is all that I need, is the best way to explain crypto and how much or how little I think I know or the general public knows about it is if we were sitting here and we rolled back to like 1992. I use this as an example.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1992. We're sitting here. We're smoking cigars. We're talking.
Yeah, I don't even think you have to go that far back.
I wouldn't be alive, so it used to be you two.
So what I mean is, he comes walking in here and he's like, "Hey, I just had coffee with the guy at a coffee shop, and the guy's telling me about this www, World Wide Web, the internet." And we're like, "What's the internet?" He's like, "I don't know, but this guy's telling me that it's going to be on your computer." Well, what do you mean it's going to be on your computer? Or how is it going to work? I don't really know how it's going to work, but eventually we're going to be able to communicate through it. We're going to be able to look things up through it. We're going to be able to sell stuff on it. Businesses are going to be able to represent themselves on it, but we don't even know. And then the guy literally tells you, but this single most wealthiest people in the world will come from the future applications that this internet will provide for us, because they're going to be able to do this and this and this, and they're going to become wealthy. But you don't even know what the internet is.
I still don't know what it is today.
And when you think about it, where is the internet? Like, I mean, like we know you go on your phone, we know you go on your computer in your house.
It just works.
It just works.
We all
And it's there somehow. You
There's things that have to happen.
you download a picture, you have your little site, you could sell tennis shoes now.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that then.
Mm-hmm.
So the first I've ever heard about crypto was my nephew, who was going to Dayton University, and he started whispering about it a little bit. And I would say, "Well, what is it?" Or explain it to me. And he really couldn't, like he was trying to, and he's done a better job over the years. But my thought process was, well, if I would have known what I've known now about the internet, would I have taken $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 back in 1992 and put it in there and said, I'm just going to let this thing see if it turns into something, And I feel like my thoughts were with crypto and Bitcoin, put a little bit of money in it, because if it completely burns and fails and disappears in 4 years, I'm not going to invest so much I'm going to lose my house or not pay my bills. But what if the upside of it has substantial, opportunity, potential? Yeah. So that's kind of like, but Bitcoin's been, it's $122,000, I think last night, $123,000.
And it's gone up
quite a bit,
very quickly.
really fast lately. And it's record high. And BlackRock, which, a few years back, they were like, "Oh, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, no one should get involved in that." They actually took Bitcoin and made an ETF, some kind of trading. But they just announced that it blew past $80 billion worth in their ETF, faster than any other exchange-traded fund in history. So once they were able to put it in some kind of exchange that people could start buying at smaller amounts and put it in, like, retirement funds and things like that. You buy certain funds, but now you can buy a little bit of this Bitcoin, and it just blew up because people are interested and people want it. And
well, Bitcoin's up. Just if you just look at the past 30 days, it's up $11,000 in 30 days.
What is that? What percentage is that?
It's 10.7%.
That's just crazy. Now, in the grand scheme of things, someone like me couldn't have went and put a couple $100 in there. I mean, 10% is nothing. But in reference to where it was, however long ago, when it was just coming around.
I mean, what is the history of it?
Well, during COVID, it dropped all the way down to $4,000.
So if you're going from 4,000
I mean,
to
if you go
122,000.
the history of it, I can go back to December 31st of 2017, and it was only 6 or 7 cents
Yeah.
a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And now it's worth 120,000.
I mean,
So if you would have dropped $500 in back then,
you would have been done. Your life would have
we'd be somewhere bigger and better than this smoking a cigar.
But like, I'm looking at it right now.
But there's a bunch of other
I mean,
there's a ton. There's a ton of cryptos.
Ethereum, XRP. XRP's now going to be finally,
Hi, buddy.
I think, really part of the banking system and used to transfer monies and funds.
And there's
things like
different. I heard.
November
Go ahead.
of 2022.
Mhm.
So we're only talking, not even 5 years.
that. No,
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
It was 15,000.
Oh man,
So it's gone up
10 times.
over 100,000.
Yeah.
But when did it dip? It dipped really bad during COVID.
So are we saying that this is going to be the new currency of the world? That's going to replace the dollar and
Or it could also be used like it's supposed to be a safe way to store stuff. Maybe. See, I don't know.
Safeway, but Safeway, I know that it's all anonymous. It's like when you have a credit card or a debit card compared to cash. You can go to the store and throw cash on the table, and no one's going to know you ever made that purchase unless there was.
But I own a little bit of Bitcoin.
Mhm.
And the great thing about it is I can go on and I can buy and sell or trade it. And what they're trying to say is where you want to transfer a large sum of money to someone else or to a company, you have to go through a bank. So you have to go through a third party to do this transaction. In this, you'll be able to transfer that large sum of money to me
No middleman.
and could be very instantaneous.
Hmm.
And so that's the one thing that it has over regular currency.
I get it.
Now, who knows when or if it will ever become the mainstream
Well,
currency.
50 Cent, the rapper 50 Cent?
Mhm.
He had a small window of time where he was selling merchandise and doing some things on just the crypto side of people can buy it for it, and they were buying it with Bitcoin and stuff like that. He filed bankruptcy, lost everything, filed bankruptcy, and then his accountant or his attorney or someone said, "Oh, by the way, remember when Bitcoin was nothing? It was like 50 cents a coin or whatever, like literally 50 cent, get it 50 cent. And now when it jumped up to $50,000, they went back and they found it, and then he was worth $50 million, something like that, because that Bitcoin was sitting in that wallet and it turned into what it is.
I know. And there's those stories where the people were buying pizza. Oh man, that would be such a bummer. They talk about biggest regret. We talked about that.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Talk about a bummer.
10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas.
I'd be kicking myself so hard over that. But to be honest with you, the whole entire idea of it,
I still don't completely understand it.
yeah.
I know there's a limited amount of Bitcoin that are going to be forever mined. That's like 21 million, right? Or something like that. And then that's it. So
Why though? Why is that the
That
number?
was the
Why
way
is that?
the guy
When he,
set it up, and in the hopes that it can't be diluted.
and you got people
Where
got
the dollar,
computers.
The dollar
Yeah.
can be diluted because they print more. The Fed prints more,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and it causes inflation. So with this, it's
Yeah. So you're basically telling me I need to go buy as much Bitcoin as I can.
Well-
Drain my savings. Sell my house.
your cars and live down in a tent by the river.
But I have a bunch of Bitcoin.
refinance.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
No, I mean, I look at it as the concern to have been told or whispered to or, slightly educated on it to like look the other way and say, oh, I don't understand it, so I'm not going to touch it. I was more like, I'll put something in there because what if this thing has a big uptick? What if this thing has the upside potential? I mean, I've done other things where you spend a couple $1,000s and, it was not a good thought, or, you buy something, you're like, did I really need that? You know what I mean? I was like, if this thing turns into nothing, I'd be okay with that. But if it doesn't, I'm at least glad I had something to look
And I
forward
will
to.
say that this Bitcoin, especially, but cryptocurrency, and there's some cryptocurrencies that they make out there that are probably jokes, but it has had a rough go with lots of prominent people saying this is garbage, don't waste your money, why would you buy that, over the years, and here it is, $120,000.
And there are joke ones. When I worked at the car dealership, the person I sat next to, he was really into all this type of stuff. And at the time, the coin Ape Coin was just about to come out. And I know nothing about it. But he was asking me, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, I have no idea. But if you're going to put some money into it, do it now, right before it starts. Because there's going to be that attention that's going to get drawn to it. There's going to be that. And Ape, there was those NFTs that were coming out of those pictures of those monkeys and all that stuff. Like, that was right at that moment. So if there's going to ever be a time that it's going to be something, it's going to be right when it comes out. And he's like, I got $50. Should I put it in? I said, I think you should. $50. What do you got $50 to lose? It's like gambling. He said yes, and he never ended up doing it. And then the next day, he was going to be able to get in at like, I think it was 20 cents a coin. It went to $12.
A coin?
A coin. But then it slowly went back down, and now I think it's pennies. But for a brief span of time, it was at $12 a coin. And he looked at me, he's like, well, why didn't I do it? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, and that's different than there's those altcoins and those meme coins, but then like Bitcoin has a function, Ethereum has a function,
A different, like,
XRP has a function.
Like
So
actual legitimate.
This one's more for banking. This one's more for security. This one's more for... But that's way above my pay grade.
it's a ledger. So Bitcoin is like a ledger of systems, and they're trying to say that soon we won't need a title agency. It's going to be on a ledger. You know, like your house is going to get transferred through a ledger title. You know, I sign it over to you, I'm done. We don't need all the other stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out. Just like AI is going to reshape the next.
And then
4 or 5
imagine,
years.
and then imagine when AI starts. I mean, what are the possible? Like when you start thinking about anything science related, or when you anything community related or business related, when you put AI into the mix, it changes it. It takes it to a whole other degree.
Right.
Because when you start putting that brain into it, they can do whatever you wanted to do at that point.
Right.
So you have
It'll be fascinating to see where AI goes and
cryptocurrencies in general, but
there's a lot of people that are really significantly saying like $250,000 within a year. You know, $500,000 within another year.
per
or two.
coin.
Per coin. They're talking.
Yeah.
The end game's like $5 to $10 to $13 million. What's his name that has? Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. What's the guy that's like just 100% in on Bitcoin? He's like, the guy that owns it all. Like, Sailor. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's literally like so in right now, and he's got so much that he's bought that he's telling everybody 10 to 12 years from now it's going to be worth $13 million of Bitcoin. And he's just taking the market cap
With how much there's going to be, and
demand for
there's a
So then-
5% adoption rate right now.
yeah.
So this is why I go back to like 1992 or 1993. Nobody knew what the internet was, and nobody had it,
everyone.
and nobody was
So
applying.
this is your warning, Joe. That you're warning yourself.
yes.
That you said back when the internet was going around, man, maybe I should have done something. Man, when Bitcoin was starting to become something, Joe, this is your warning. Put all your money in Bitcoin. You'll take the risk for us, right? This is you're literally warning
I'm
yourself.
gonna have to dig up the $1 million I have under the water feature and pull it out of that sack.
If you have $1 million on the water feature, I'm digging it up tonight. Can you take them out? But this is your warning. In 5 years, you're going to be a multimillionaire.
We'll come back and we'll do another podcast.
Yeah.
Right here. I'm gonna mark the calendar.
You want
Today.
to hear something crazy?
Yeah, sure.
That when Bitcoin was $8,000,
Mhm.
I bought a whole Bitcoin,
Nice.
and it just started going up and 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 up, and within months, it was up to like almost 20,000. I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the world. I'm gonna be rich, and then it started going, because that's the problem with Bitcoin. It goes up,
Very volatile.
then it goes down. It's very volatile. So people that can't stomach that,
Mhm.
and it came down, 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 and then I sold it
So it's,
Oh.
at 12.
it's July.
Ah.
It's July 14th,
Yep.
and Bitcoin is at, hold on, give me 1 second here. It's at 120,142. So remember that for our video.
It's going to be on YouTube. We can't forget it.
We'll check
5 years from now. Like, yeah,
We should just give a Bitcoin update.
every month, every episode, just at the very end.
Well, we could always be like, okay, and Bitcoin's at, or Bitcoin's at,
Yeah.
and if it starts to tank, we report it. If it keeps going up,
None
we
of us
report it.
are financial gurus.
No.
Yes,
Do not
we are not
put
here.
money that you have available. It's like gambling. Don't put money that you have.
I will say this, though.
That you need.
Yeah.
I will say this. I will say there is value in these anoronic chairs built this way out of this material because these will last a long time. So if you're going to spend some money on a few patio sets, this is good material right here.
And that's not sponsored.
and the solo stove.
Well,
Yeah.
Solo Stove, yeah. We are sponsored by Solo Stove.
No, we're not.
Oh.
Did you not get that memo?
We're not sponsored by
We're
anything.
sponsored by the trees and the geese.
And the golf balls that all went in the water while we were talking here.
Yeah, I'll be out there fishing tonight for the golf balls. 2 for $1.
That's a deal.
Yeah.
Sell those and buy Bitcoin.
My golf balls, sell it for Bitcoin.
It's my new business strategy.
Yep.
All my extra money I make, I'm going to start buying Bitcoin.
All right,
Well, I think that's it. Thank you all for
Yes.
everybody for
We made it
watching.
This long?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be making this long.
No. This
We're
was
just
long.
enjoying ourselves.
Yes.
We're just 3 gentlemen
Smoking cigars,
that are living
talking
Yeah.
current events, or just stuff.
just stuff. We're living our lives, and we're not financial gurus. We're not political gurus. We're just 3 dudes talking the news from the perspectives that we have, from the lived experiences that we have. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
And if you like it, great.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Like, subscribe.
Comment. We would like to have more comments to be able to talk about, like, the question of the day.
Like if tonight you enjoyed the view, if you enjoyed the fact that Duke got off his couch and you walked over there and checked out the kids fishing. I mean, just say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
That's what
Thank you
we're
for watching.
Yes.
Yep.